previous tutorial, I said you what's an interface, and you could implement a little about the interface. So in this tutorial, I'm gonna share with you how to use a built-in interface in Java language to sort a list of objects, and we can understand more what is interface in Java. Okay, so just create a new package, and I do believe it should be 23 because in the 22 we didn't create a package with the name 22. So just put it as lesson 23. Okay, and now in this lesson 23, let's create a new customer class quickly with two property: private string name and private integer ID as a customer ID. And then I will use the IDA generator to generate automatically something for getter and setter for both name and ID. And then I'm gonna generate for default constructor, generate constructor, default constructor, and then another constructor fully parameter. Generate constructor fully parameter. Okay. Here, so we have a customer class with two constructors and all of the getter and the setter. Okay. So now let's try to implement another built-in Java interface with the name. Let me remember. It is comparable. Okay, not comparator. It should be comparable interface from java.length package. So because it comes with the Java language, so you don't need to import that package out there. So when after you import this comparable interface, let me try to open it, and then you see why we have some error here. I don't want to move and see the detail, but here you try to command on Mac OS or control on the Windows, then you just click and then you can see this is interface comparable, and inside this interface we have an abstract method with the name compare to. So that means we need to implement this method in our class customer here. So if you put something like compare to here, so you see it will be automatically have an annotation as override here, and the error will disappear here. So if you don't want to do that yourself manually, you can try to move the cursor here, and then you select the implement the method here, then you choose the compare to here. Okay, so here inside the compare to, I will do something is very simple. So I don't want to have the object here, because if I put the objects by default here, I will do something related to the casting. So I don't want to talk about the casting. That can get you confused at this point. Okay, so you do one more thing. You open this one and then you boost the customer. You see the customer from lesson 23 package here. You enter and then you close it here. So that means your comparable will accept the type of class as customer, and now in the methods compare to here, you boost it as customer again. So you can see this is the customer, and because I'm going to compare between them a list of customers, so I will name it as dash. That means dash customer, and I will do something very easy. That I will return something like I will compare between the name, okay, between the name here. So I will do something like this. I will return, I want to delete this one. I will return this dot get name, and then I will select the compare to ignore case here. Compare to ignore case is a function from a string that we want to compare with another string. So we will return the result as an integer. So let me try to put dash dot get name. So dash is a customer instance that will be an instance from the customer class here. So that's why it will have the guest name methods here. So this compared to ignore case, it will return, you see, return an integer. And this compared to function requires to return an integer as well. So if this name and that name equal and it's not case, so that means we don't care about the uppercase or normal case. So in the case they are the same, that means we will return 0. So in the case this name is bigger than that name, it will return 1, and otherwise it will return -1 or negative integer. Okay, so I just want to put something simple for us. So the purpose that I want to sort based on the name. Okay, so try to create another class to test this out. So I will test a short customer here, and I will create a main method here. So I will declare the customer with the cost one equal new customer here, and I will put the name at ZZZ and the ID 111. Okay, so I will do the same thing, and I will create a new customer 2 here. So I wanna print out. Okay, I need to change the name. It should be 888, and the ID should be 112 to distinguish. And then you can see this is ZZZ, but it's comfort, and 888 come up after. After that, I will show a demonstration how to sort them. Okay. So now, before I print it out, I want to declare an array list. So you already have. So you still remember the array list, right? So this is the list, and this list will be a list of customer, and I will name it as customer equal new array list here. So let me do something like customer, and then I will add quickly the customer one, and then I will do the same for the customer 2. So that means in this customer array list, I already have customer 1 and customer 2. So let me print something like before sorting the customer list here, and I will do something like after here. Okay, after before and after. So before, let me do something like for customer, it should be customer from the customer list. And then what I do, I will print out, just print out the customer. I just print out the customer. And because I will print an instance, so I need to implement the toString in the customer class here. So let's do it quickly. So here I just put toString here, and then you can see we can select something default here. So as I mentioned in the previous lesson, that you can do yourself, that you can return anything yourself. But here I just put it as default. It will print out the customer, the name, and the ID. That's it. Okay. And then when I run this, and when I print out the instance of that customer, it will trigger the, it will trigger the toString function here. Okay. So let's try to run it first to see what is the result before we sort the list. So you can see here, before we sort the list, we have the customer name with ZZZ, and another customer name come after that is the 888 here. So I want to sort based on the name. That means I want to revert it here. So I want to put more, something like, maybe I will put something more. Let's see, we have BBB here and 113 here. I just put it at the customer 3 here. Okay, and then I run again. You probably see, oh, I forgot to add the customer 3 in the list. So you technically you will see the customer 3 comes after here. So you see, so I want to sort them. So how to short it? So you call collection. You see the collection with the S at the end, and it will come from Java.util package here, and then you call the short function here. After that, you put the list that you want to short. So in this case, it will be the customer list, and if you want to use the collection that's short. So the customer here, you need to implement the comparable. If you don't do that, you will face an error. So let me try to do this. Let me try to remove this one, and then I will remove this one as well, of course. And now, if you come back to the test customer here, you see, and it will tell us reason no instant type exit to the customer confirm to the comparable interface. So that means if you want to use the collection that short function here, you need to implement the comparable from we need to implement the comparable interface, and we need to override the compare to methods. So that's why we will use it. It will accept, okay? So just put back everything here, and then everything's okay now. So what I do, I will copy this from the line 20 to, I will copy from the line 20 to the line 22 here, and I will put here under the 26 here. So that means I want to have something like AAA, BBB, and ZZZ, okay? So run it again. So you see, after sorting, we have AAA, BBB, and ZZZ here, okay? So it's very easy for you, as I have just showed you another demonstration related to the interface. So again, I just want to remind you again, when you want to design an interface yourself, you think about the ability. So you see here, the ability of the comparable, that we have the ability to sort. That means we have ability to compare to something. So that's the way, and then you can think more, and then you can understand about the interface purpose, because many confusion between the abstract class and an interface. But I don't want to tell you about the syntax, because the syntax is something related to, just programming language, specific only for any programming language. But the purpose is the thing that you need to understand. So again, when we think about interface, we think about the abilities. Okay, so try to practice yourself again in the sorting function here, because I think that you will face many situations that you want to sort a list. And then see you in the next tutorial. Bye for now.